Oh, this is going to be good.
This is the Nerdy Things Podcast. This podcast contains strong language, adult themes, and poorly developed ideas. We apologize for nothing. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 62 of the Nerdy Things Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kevin. I am joined, as always, by Jules. Hey, Jules.
Heyo.
And by Tim. What's going on, Tim?
We're back.
We are back.
Right? I almost forgot how to start the show. I was like, do I talk? Does Tim talk? What happens? Okay. No. We're back. We did it.
It's been 2 weeks. This is fantastic. I missed this.
I missed us.
Yeah. Oh, how sweet.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we recorded something in between, but I missed the Nerdy Things podcast. I miss what we do. I miss this whole thing. It's great.
Well, it's tough because we were all pretty much dying, probably in our own different ways.
Yeah. Still dying for the better part of the week.
I'm just dying less.
We're all just dying less. I hope you're dying less out there in podcast land. We are back and ready for something that went viral that I wanted to start off the show with. Something really cool at Filmstruck on Twitter. They started this hashtag Filmstruck4, and basically they're just asking people to celebrate the nature of cinema and fill the timeline and fill up the world with films that define you. What 4 films define you or defined you or anything like that? Any 4 films that you wanted to pick? And I don't know. I guess I'll go first. So one of the movies that really, I mean, it's gonna be basic. I'm pretty sure Tim's gonna have one of these on here. Harry Potter: The Deathly Hallows Part 2, just because that is the culmination of everything that was my childhood. I'm wearing a Hogwarts shirt right now. Like that was the ultimate win of good versus evil, blah blah blah, all that stuff. We already talked about Harry Potter. Another one was Kill Bill Part 1. So if some of y'all know, Tarantino is like one of my favorite directors, separate from Tarantino real life, but he is one of my favorite directors. And Kill Bill was definitely super insane for me. Was one of the first movies that I saw with that much blood and that much intense, just like, whoa, you can do this kind of stuff. This was kind of ridiculous. And the cinematography was kind of fantastic. And going into my third one was Pulp Fiction. The way they told that story was totally insane for me, and that totally blew my world. And the the cinematography again with Kill Bill. These 2 movies I can watch over and over again. And this last one might surprise you, but Titanic. I really loved Titanic growing up, and I could watch this movie like over and over again, and I did, and it just showed so much immensity, the story of a true love that came out of nowhere. And this was the very first
I'm
movie.
not going to make fun of you for it. I really do, but I'm not going to.
No, you can't.
I'm just going to call you out and say it was the boobs.
It was when I was young, but I don't remember the boobs in it. Honestly, I remember watching it over and over again, and then later in life, I'm like, oh, there's boobs in it? What? But this was one of the main things I remember about it was this was the very first VHS tape that had 2 VHS tapes for the full movie.
Oh,
so
God.
you have to watch half of it, and then you have to take it out and then start up
Jules,
the second VHS tape.
At some point, you should definitely watch The Stand on VHS. I mean, yeah, that is an ordeal. That is like 8 VHS tapes. I rented it from the video place up near my cottage once. That we had to rent it 4 times because they would only rent out 2 VHSs at a time.
Wow.
That'd be like Roots too, right? Wasn't Roots?
Oh yeah,
4 or so 4 or 5 VHS tapes.
Yep. Yeah,
that was the whole thing. Roots was even weirder because Roots was a movie that premiered on television. So this was like a 5-night extravaganza or something that people there was no, DVR or anything. So people had to like schedule themselves in front of the TV to watch this series night after night after night.
Or you'd have to schedule your VCR to record it, and that was a nightmare because no one knew.
Percentage of people even had them.
No,
but that's true.
But yeah, no one knew how to schedule a VCR, and if you could, you did not trust it. That thing was not going to record what you wanted.
True. Okay, I want to hear y'all's 4 films.
Okay, yeah. For me, it's probably going to be like Star Wars, obvious reasons.
Which ones?
just the Star Wars,
Star
like
Wars.
Hope, and
Oh,
the
okay.
original War of the Stars. I'm pretty sure that's how it's called. And it'd probably be Avengers if I was doing a modern day list. A movie called Carnosaur, not because it's good, but because it really shaped me for some reason, because it is the worst movie ever put on film. And I'd have to probably say like Spies Like Us, or one of the 80s comedy, like that was when comedy was good, and all of those people are now proven to be assholes, but comedy was great back then.
Spy Hard too.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure like how to approach this because it said movies that define you, so I wasn't sure if this was supposed to be movies that like connected with my life and are metaphors for who I am as a person, or just movies that were like defining moments of my life, like movies that just had impact and presence in my life. So I chose to look at it that way. And so I'd have to go with Hook. I watched Hook like 1,000 times when I was a kid.
I've never heard you mention that movie.
Right. Yeah. So I watched Hook like 1,000 times, and it shaped a lot of my creativity as a kid, just, making up stories, pretending I was someone else, like playing swords in the background, that backyard, that, and along with playing Zelda, did that. But Hook was a big one. It also developed my love for Robin Williams, which never quit. You could piggyback Mrs. Doubtfire that came out about the same time along with that, but we'll go with Hook. Yep. I'll go with, kind of for similar reasons why Jules picked Kill Bill, I'll go with the Scream series. It was kind of the first set of movies that I went out to see as a young adult that was rated R, that I was allowed to go to by myself, and there was blood and scary stuff and all that kind of stuff. Another one was the first movie I ever went to the theater to see with friends without parents, and that would be Billy Madison. Love me some Billy Madison.
Nice.
One of the funniest movies of all time. So that's 3. And I will pick Gladiator because it is my favorite movie of all time. No question about it. I think it's the greatest film ever made, but it really started the point in my life where I saw everything. When that movie came out, that around 99 or 2000 is when I literally just started seeing everything. And that almost hasn't stopped 18 years later. So
Fair enough.
Wow. So that just showed a little bit more about the Nerdy Boys. And if you want to talk to us about your film Struck 4, there's even like a gaming one that's going around. Go ahead and tweet us on our Twitter and all that stuff at Nerdy Things Pod. You know where to find us. And I'm about to tell you some more places where you can find us. Most social media, we're at Nerdy Things Pod. That's Nerdy Things Pod. And you can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news, updated daily, and links to our merch for shirts and more. Links to YouTube to watch the podcast episodes, because we do these in video, and our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. And we are changing it up for patrons now. For only $1, you will be able to join the chat. You'll be able to join us recording live right now, in the future for y'all, but right now for us. And you get to join in. Yeah, you get to join in, drink with us, Tim, Kevin, Jules. You can join us for $1. You get the link to hang out with us every night on Thursday while we record these. And again, these new podcasts are going to be coming out every Friday morning from now on. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. And we would love some more voicemails and texts, and that would be awesome, about anything really, about how hyped you are about Avengers, or if you really like The Rock or whatever. Just go text us or leave us a voicemail over there.
Very nice.
Let's get into it.
All right, so it's time.
Nerdy news.
At 6 o'clock. That's right. It's time for the nerdy news. We're going to start it off this week with the new trailer for Jurassic World, which looks amazing. I'm glad they waited this long, but this is the first trailer that I've seen for this, that it didn't make me feel like this was a remake of one of the other Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movies. I Love this.
Sure. A lot of people are saying that the storyline is going to be similar to some of the other ones, but the way that it looks and the way that it's like, I don't know, it just feels great. It just feels like it's going to be a fun ride. It's a little bit darker than all the other stuff that we've been seeing with Jurassic World. Like, I think that's a good thing because it does have to play up this whole, oh, the world's in danger. These are kind of dinosaurs that can kill people, and they're starting to lean towards that, and I think that's good. Even though we know Chris Pratt's going to be the obvious comic relief, but this trailer just looks fantastic. And then Tim, you were mentioning they have a new poster that looks fantastic as well.
Oh, the poster, which you can check out on our Instagram, I posted it yesterday, I think, is maybe my favorite movie poster of all time. It's just got the T-Rex. It's just that perfect shot. I tried to use it as the cover for the Tim's Movie Minutes trailer reaction that I did, way ago, but I couldn't get the shot quite right. But it's perfect. And I agree with you, Jules. They definitely are leaning on the darker side, but we also saw a whole lot more comedy in this one too, which I was delighted by. But if you go back to what I said if you want to go revisit in YouTube when the first trailer came out way back when, my biggest thing was that the action looked amazing, and I had no question that was going to be the case following what we got from the first one. But I wasn't sure with the storyline if they'd be able to fill the whole movie. But now we see there's a whole other component to the story that we didn't even know about before. So yeah, that's why I'm with you, Kevin. This is the first time where I'm like really excited. It's Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, so I'm always excited.
You're
but
always
now I'm like fully on board. Yeah.
100%. I mean,
fully on board now.
Even though, to Jules's point, this looks like it has some elements from the other movies where it's like you've got the expert, he's tricked into going back, and he thinks it's one mission and it's another, like you get from the whole like Alan Grant being brought back to the island thing. However, this is just a like megalomaniacal evil plan, and we're getting new and different dinosaurs. I love this. I'm behind this 100%. I cannot wait. And I got to tell you, go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just saying he's being tricked by intelligent evil forces, not a carpet salesman trying to rescue his kid.
Exactly.
It's definitely a different deal, but go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, you had said that there was a new poster for this, and I started looking for the new poster, and I was not like wowed by the poster that I found. Apparently there was a poster that came out today, and I was like, why is Tim and then I saw that poster, and then immediately I was like, oh no, this is amazing. This is an amazing poster. Like, I am going to have to murder someone and get a poster of that for my wall. Like, even if I don't have to murder them, I will, just to get that poster.
Just for fun, just to say you did it. Yeah, it's just the perfect shot, and where they put the logo and everything, it's awesome. But I saw it originally because Chris Pratt posted it on his Instagram, and I love his caption because it's Chris Pratt. He goes, "You met the T-Rex 25 years ago this summer. She returns for the most explosive Jurassic Park yet. Get it? Explosive? Because volcano? Boom. Boom. Again. I did it again. Boom. Get it? Because volcano."
Jeez.
I hate him so much.
I love him so much.
I love him so much.
But yeah, I mean, it's just super intense. I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. The other one that had me real excited this week was the Deadpool 2 trailer. Holy crap, that thing looks amazing.
Jesus Christ! I know they're not gonna run out of jokes. I know when I watch the movie, it's still gonna be as funny. That all these two trailers that we got, they're just like filler jokes, and it still has me laughing so hard with all this. But
they just keep coming.
They keep coming back with more every time.
Yeah.
The big joke in this one being the Peter character that they introduced that has no mutant powers, and they bring him on the team. Have you guys checked out his Twitter page?
Peter has a Twitter.
Peter W has a Twitter. Peter W _1974. This Twitter page is a work of art. This thing is absolutely spectacular. He's got one where he's in the parachuting harness, and it says, "Spent the afternoon practicing our X-forcing. These guys are really good. Really good. Need to work on my cardio." He's just like leaning into this.
Oh my God, there he is.
It
This
is
great.
absolutely.
It's a verified Twitter account.
Yeah.
What?
I love the Twitter associated with Deadpool. Like, I love all of their other marketing. This is what makes the movie. This is what Ryan Reynolds does well about this.
It's just part of the whole meta nature of Deadpool. And they even brought into this trailer where he specifically tells Thanos to chill out or something, and then jokes about how you're getting too dark. What are you, a DC character?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just throwing shade at all of the other comic book stuff going on around them. It's awesome.
It is. It is absolutely amazing.
That Thanos quote just got me. I was like, oh, no. Here we go. Oh my God, I'm just going to be stuck on this Peter W. Twitter account for a while.
There's no reason not to. He's amazing.
He's a beekeeper.
What? He's an accomplished beekeeper.
Wow. All right.
You have no powers?
Out of here.
No, I just saw the ad. Well, then you're in.
He just wants to get out of his comfort zone. I love the guy.
Deadpool would just be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just get on in.
And I mean,
every time I see one of these trailers, it also makes me want to go back and watch Van Wilder.
Oh, why wouldn't it? That is the prequel to these movies.
Right?
That is absolutely true.
The only thing that would make it more so would be if Cal Penn were the taxi driver instead of this other guy.
That would be amazing. You know, we could use his help because Josh Brolin did sign on for a 4-movie cable arc. So he's going to be around for a while.
What is that going to be? Is that going to be connected to... Is just going to be like solo stuff, or
I am
connected to something?
So happy because I'm sure this means we're going to get a cable Deadpool movie where they are just playing off of each other for the entirety of the movie. I'm sure he'll be in the X-Men sequel, but I mean, to have him sign on, that's a Thanos role right there. It's a 4-movie deal. I am behind that 100%.
But I might be wrong. Doesn't Cable end up being a good guy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Comics? No, he is.
Yeah, he ends up being part of the X-Force, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So that's the exciting part because he's not a bad guy. He's just a bad guy. You know, he's
just after a kid.
Yeah, but you don't know why. This is what I love about the marketing.
No, we don't know why.
We know nothing about this. Like, he is here for this kid. Is he here to kill this kid, or is Deadpool just misinterpreting it? Because I could totally see Deadpool misinterpreting this.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I really could. Like, I could see all of this being some weird ass misunderstanding because Deadpool was scratching his balls and didn't hear something or whatever. So I love it. Even if it is that Cable is here to kill this kid, I'm sure he has a reason for it and thinks he's right because he's the type that whatever he does is right no matter what in his mind.
Oh, he's like Kevin.
Yeah, just like me.
So yeah, he's gonna join up in like movie 3 or 4. Does the Cable arc start with this next movie? So is it this one that's included in the 4, or is it?
I think so. I think it is. I think that when they did the contracts, this is the first of 4.
Ah, nice. Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, you know, it's better than Spielberg doing a Blackhawk movie. Yeah, I'm not behind this. Blackhawk is like.
Yeah, do I know anything about Blackhawk?
This weird, like, B-string, not even B-string list of DC comics.
D.
Yeah, no, it really is. I brought this up because it's Spielberg. You have to talk about Spielberg. But at the same time, it's like this is not something that needs to be made. Nobody knows what this is. This is like a 1941 comic about World War II squadron so this has no real relevance right now.
But it's right up Spielberg's alley.
Sure, absolutely 100%. But if you want to make a Spielberg World War II flying movie, you don't have to make it the Blackhawks. You can just
make it the Rocketeer.
You just don't even just make a movie. We don't have to.
I love the Rocketeer.
Oh my God, we need a Blackhawks Rocketeer crossover.
Yes,
done and done. Solved.
Oh my gosh, I forget who played the leading lady in the Rocketeer, because I was a young child, but I remember thinking she was pretty. Who was in the Rocketeer?
Oh boy, we're awakening something within Tim. This is one of the 4 movies that was formative for Tim.
Oh yeah,
Jennifer Connelly, of course. That makes perfect sense.
The voice of Friday from Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's Spielberg though, and especially coming off of Ready Player One, and people asked why do we need Ready Player One, and that turned out to be flipping fantastic. So I'd say let him make it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to watch it, and I will. But I just don't know that Spielberg has anything with this. Like this, or by that's the other side of that coin, who gives a shit what he does with it, because no one knows the comic.
Exactly. And I don't know what this has anything to do with. Is this going to be going into the universe? Is this going to be totally separate than what's going on? Is this going to be, why is Blackhawk going to be, the Blackhawk movie going to be so much better than like a Superman movie or a Batman movie because Spielberg's directing it? Like, do I really want this Blackhawk movie to be really good if I don't know anything about it? And he's like a D-level character because Spielberg directed it? Like, what?
Man, I just gave Ready Player One a 9.1. I am here for another Spielberg movie. Okay.
All right. Tim's going to be Blackhawk #1 fan now.
He's in line for tickets already. Bye, Tim.
Yeah, I pre-ordered. What are you talking about?
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, I'm excited about Star Wars Episode 9. They've just brought on Victoria Mohaney as the second location director. And she is the first Black woman to direct anything Star Wars related.
Thanks for just like adding that in as I look down. Like you're talking. So, all right, little peek behind the curtain here. Not that curtain, the one in front of us. Kevin makes this spreadsheet on our Google Documents that we use as an outline for the news topic, so we can all be on the same page. And he just started talking about Star Wars Episode 9, and I'm like, there's no Star Wars Episode 9 on the list. And sure enough, I look down and Kevin has updated the list. So great.
What? It's been updated for a while.
You got to pay attention. Gotta pay attention.
I was too busy looking up other stuff. Rocketeer. Okay.
Rocketeer, the Rocketeer lady, whoever that is.
For anybody that doesn't know who Victoria Mohaney is, she directed the pilot for Freeform's Misfits reboot, as well as a couple of episodes of American Crime and Grey's Anatomy for ABC.
A Grey's Anatomy director.
Grey's Anatomy
in Star Wars.
See, I mean that's amazing. We're gonna have another amazing female director, and I don't know if y'all heard, this is like not on that Star Wars tier, but apparently Warner Brothers is hiring Chinese American director Kathy Yan to direct the spin-off with Harley Quinn that's going to be based off Birds of Prey.
Is that the one that delayed Suicide Squad 2 because of it?
Because what's her name, Margot Robbie, really wants this movie to happen, but we have like more female directors, and that's super cool. Like bring more of that.
Is cool.
That's definitely awesome.
We do need more.
I'm all for female directors, but you could be a female, a male, or a Wookiee, and if your name is attached to Grey's Anatomy, I don't want you anywhere near Star Wars.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta start somewhere.
Grey's Anatomy is the dredges of television. Okay,
just been like one episode.
Unless you want to go like direct an episode of General Hospital, that's the only way you can go a tier down from Grey's Anatomy. So let's slow our roll with this one here.
Everybody loves Grey's Anatomy. Come on.
No.
All right. Well,
no.
From the guy who likes the Titanic as one.
It was a great film, cinematically.
Next, you're gonna tell me you don't like Elton Jon, Tim.
Elton Jon.
Love Elton Jon. Love Elton Jon.
They just cast Taron Egerton as Elton Jon in the upcoming movie Rocketman.
I know, and I'm so flippin' excited.
I mean, I can kind of get behind that. It has to be because of all the time they spent on the set of Kignsman 2.
Because they hung out
on
Kignsman 2.
Has to be. I mean, there's no other explanation for it.
No, there is another explanation for it. Did you see Taron Egerton play Johnny Bananas in the Sing animated movie? Or whatever his last, I don't know his literal last name. It wasn't Johnny Bananas. He played the gorilla in Sing.
I didn't
really?
know
He did?
Yes.
That was like a huge thing. Yeah.
And he played the piano and sang, and everybody in that movie sang their own parts. So yeah, man, like he's got a voice, and I don't know if he actually played the piano, but I know he sang for real. Okay, that I know.
Wow.
I don't know if he played the piano.
Yeah, I didn't realize he played
Johnny. He's got a voice. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. All right. See that? You learn something new every damn day.
This is what we're here for. This is what we're Things podcast, to educate the world.
But that's totally cool. I mean, I'm down for that. He had the glasses on, and I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I saw the picture with him
You
in
know
the
what?
glasses.
I like Taron. I like Elton John. I don't think there's anything wrong with either of those. Let's put them together. Let's make a movie.
They were hanging out on the set, and Elton John was playing piano and singing. And then he goes, "Hey, you were in that Sing movie, weren't you? You play piano and sing." And he goes, "Yeah. Did we just become best friends?" "Yeah, bruv."
I doubt he said bro. Yeah.
I doubt he said any of that, to be honest with you.
Talking about is exactly what happened. I have sources inside.
You have sources? Name
Not
your
really.
sources. No, okay.
No, you never name sources.
Never
Nobody
name
ever
sources.
names sources. If
Oh,
if you name a source, they're not a source anymore. That's how it's journalism 101, my man. Come on.
Ooh,
That
that's
is
good.
definitely not how journalism works, my friend.
We
They
are-
may not be an anonymous source, but they're still your source.
Well, they're still the source, but they're not a source going forward. You don't throw away a good source by naming them.
There you go.
You make your bread on having good sources. Once you
What if you
name
made
them,
up a name?
they
What
cease being
if you
a
just
source.
made up a name for them? What if you were like, oh, my source is F. Gary Gray, and that's not
Yeah.
a real name.
But then people are going to say that's not a real name. So your source, you're a liar.
Ha!
Wait, he's a real guy.
That is a real name. That was a director of Fate of the Furious, and now he's going to be directing M.A.S.K. for Paramount.
Like the
I'm
mask
here
with
for
Jim
it.
Carrey.
No, not like the Mask with Jim Carrey, you fucking millennial. Tim, do you know what M.A.S.K. is? Did you ever play with M.A.S.K? Did you ever watch the cartoon when we were younger?
Wait a second. It's not The Mask with Jim Carrey?
No, it's not. This is
That's what I
M.A.S.K.
thought we were talking
Oh
about.
my god, really?
Mobile
Yeah.
Armored Strike Command.
No.
Command with a K for some reason.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I'm out of this conversation.
Wow.
I had a whole thing. I looked at F. Gary Gray's.
Oh, we gotta somebody
I looked at his
stop him.
whole- I looked at his whole background and I'm like, oh, he could totally do this because he's done action, he's done
Right.
comedy, like he directed Friday. So if he was
Oh.
going to do The Mask, that's a match made in heaven.
See, I'm
But that's
disappointed.
not
I thought I
what it
had an ally in you, Tim. M.A.S.K. was one of
You
my
have-
favorite toys when I was younger. They had this play set that was a gas station that like the gas pumps would become guns, and they had cars where the doors would open and become wings, and the cars could fly. And like the whole premise was that these cars and vehicles had masks that would come down over the guys' heads that were driving them, and it was just the weirdest thing. And it's right up your alley, Tim, because it was only there to sell toys. This was like He-Man. This was like Transformers. This was like GoBots. It was the same damn thing. I can't believe you have no idea what this is.
The
Never
mask
heard
with
of it.
Jamie Kennedy. No?
My hatred for you is rising.
Oh, Kevin.
Oh, but this is
So-
like Transformers and Micronauts and ROM. This is all going to be potentially in the same universe. So great. Thanks, Paramount.
It's all by Hasbro, right? So they're all gonna be technically in the same universe or
Pretty
whatever.
much.
What?
Yeah. Hungry
Bring them
Hippos.
together.
Rom Space.
Mask it up.
M.A.S.K. But yeah, I mean, this was like the culmination of opening the doors on your Hot Wheels car and pretending those were wings. This was a cartoon that actually did that. The doors on the car actually became wings.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. It was very awesome.
Maybe I did watch this as a kid. I just don't remember it.
We'll have
It
to sit
sounds
down.
like
I'll make you watch it.
Okay.
Oh,
It sounds
God.
like something I might have watched, but
Right?
didn't stick in with my mind, obviously, because I thought it was Jim Carrey's mask. And I was
No.
like, yeah.
Oh God.
Jimmy
All
Kennedy
right.
tried it. Son of Mask happened, and nobody
No.
else wanted it after
Son of
that.
Mask never happened. That's,
Oh, okay, cool.
Erase that from your brain.
True.
Oh God. All right. So the other thing we wanted to talk about before we get out of news, God of War is the highest rated PS4 exclusive. And
Yeah.
it comes out today as far as the podcast is concerned?
Yeah, it comes out today. So they're gonna have like player rated stuff after today, but as far as like Metacritic and ratings and stuff goes, this is the highest rated PS4 exclusive. Now I keep saying like exclusive because Grand Theft Auto 5 is still the highest rated game like across platforms, but this is the highest rated PS4 exclusive. And I'm like, do I need to buy a PlayStation? Because I loved God of War when it first came out on PlayStation 2, the very first two, I think. And this is a franchise that, you know, just keeps on going. And where they're going with this story where he has a son now and you have to, you know, do that whole thing, work that mechanic. Sure. That's interesting. That's super cool.
I've never played a God of War. I mean, back when it first came out, I did not have a PlayStation.
Mhm.
I have since gotten a PlayStation. Is this a game I'm going to have to get?
I don't know for you particularly, Kevin, but if you do like enough story and enough like blood and action and stuff, it's a pretty cool solo fun game. Like
I don't
it's
like
pretty
any of those.
straightforward. Yeah, I don't think it's perfect for you, Kevin, but it is it's a fun game for the solo adventure.
I'm torn because Kratos, the main character, is now voiced by Christopher Judge, who is Teal'c from Stargate SG-1.
Ooh.
And I love him, and I want to hear his voice.
You should just get it for that.
I should. You know what? I should. I'm not going to just watch it on YouTube. I was going to, but I think I may have to buy it, just listen to him. Just maybe rip his audio files out and play them on a loop or something so I can hear him again.
There you go.
You should find out if he's ever done a book on tape.
Ooh, what a smart
or
idea.
audio book, as they're
Audible.
called now.
A book on
audio
tape.
book.
Right.
Huh. I may have to look into that.
But yeah, if you're playing God of War out there and you just got it the day that this podcast comes out, let us know on Nerdy Things at Nerdy Things Pod. And I want to know, definitely, we want to hear what you think of the video game and if it's worth getting a whole PlayStation 4 and see if we can make Tim's in Australia get a PlayStation now because we made him get a Nintendo Switch. But no,
Tim might already have a PlayStation. We don't know.
fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, that's like super huge, and we think that this is going to be the Breath of the Wild for the year so far. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on with that video game
Until Smash Brothers comes out.
Until Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers comes out. Wait, hold on. Do you think Smash Brothers is enough to get a game of the year?
Yeah. You know?
Like graphics, and I don't think it has a story.
Yeah, that's the thing. It probably won't get game of the year because it doesn't have a story and stuff like that. It's not that kind of game, but it's easily just from an anticipation standpoint of actual gamers.
Whether it wins game of the year or not, it will be the game of the year.
Right.
Okay. It'll be
Kevin, I'm with you on that. We're back. We're in sync again, Kev.
Perfect. I love it. All right. It's time for the main topic. All right. This week's main topic is the movie Rampage.
Hooray.
Dwayne the Rock
Speaking of games of the year.
Speaking of games of the year.
On,
oh my God.
Great game. I love
Yeah, let's talk about the game first.
Did you guys see, just real quick, did you guys see The Rock was bragging about this being the highest rated video game movie ever on Rotten Tomatoes?
What?
And he was saying like he knows the curse is real because he was in Doom, and then Doom tweeted back at him. But let's start with the fact that he's bragging about it getting a 53.
That's fair.
To the common person, the highest rated video game movie sounds pretty good. And not everybody knows everything that's been going on.
I mean,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the human hype machine.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he can say anything and he'll hype it up. Like, come on.
Yeah. So anyways, the game. We're going to talk about the game.
Let's talk about the game.
Yeah, Rampage.
It was an arcade game. It had buttons. It had a joystick. You put quarters in it.
It wasn't the most elaborate game, but it was like super fun for when gaming was for what it was back then. It was just like, you know, they had some three-dimensional on World Tour, like on the cover they had like super interesting three-dimensional displays of these characters, and you can tell that was like super just computerized, like, oh, this defines what the computer age is right now. It just looks super interesting.
I always hated that when they would like spend way too much time overthinking the computer graphics for the front, and it was nothing like the gameplay. But, I mean, Rampage was a game that I will tell you right now. I'm gonna bottom line it for you. No one understood this game because it was a game where you'd put in quarters, you'd just grab the joystick, jump on a building, punch a little bit. Where you'd be in shot, I don't know. Yeah. Eventually, you would just die and you'd put in more quarters. No one knew why you were dying. There isn't a strategy to it. You just punched, you ate people, and that was the end of the game.
Yeah.
It was the perfect arcade game. You punch in, you plunk in quarters. You don't know what you're doing. It looked good. and it had crazy animals. So when you're out there with like your 12-year-old guy friends, you're like, oh, giant gorillas, wolves, smash, 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 because like you're all testosterone-y and ready to go. So,
this game was right up there with The Simpsons, Ninja Turtles, and what was that one with the pedal that you'd step on in the gun? Time Crisis.
Time Crisis.
Top 4 games right there. Rampage, Time Crisis, Simpsons, and Ninja Turtles, hands down.
Yeah, it was just basically
definitely where it was at.
I'm a fan of The Simpsons and Time Crisis. Simpsons still in many bars that I go to right now, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, this Rampage is just cause as much destruction as you can with these 3 characters, and then going forward, it got ported a bunch, and they added more characters, and they added some quote unquote storyline. But this is just monsters causing destruction, and you can do whatever.
The video game had storyline?
Well, yeah.
Background for the character.
That in the movie.
It went. I see what you did there. But I don't know. It was just a fun game. I don't know if we'll get into it later, but not my first choice if I was choosing a video game to port to a movie.
No, but they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Sure.
There's not a lot of good stuff left.
It's either a reboot or a new Rampage movie. So
pretty much.
There's not a lot of good stuff left, except for the really good stuff that they don't want to sully by making into a video game movie.
Right. But even some of that's in production or held up in limbo somewhere because someone bought the rights a million years ago and nobody can do anything with it because that guy
maybe this
living in
53 will break the curse and get all of them back on board.
No.
Let's talk about this movie. Let's jump into the movie now.
Okay.
Let's talk about this.
Non-spoiler talk as usual. We're talking Rampage, the movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it was a fine film.
It was a movie. I wouldn't call it a film.
I think I enjoyed it. I mean,
1998 wants their movie back.
No, they don't.
It didn't make the big screen in 98, so they want to put it back in the archives where it belongs. That's what this movie was. This was a movie that was shot in 1998. Somehow Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson didn't age. He's the same age now as he was then. They filmed it in 98. It tested terribly, so it never got released until now. It's the only explanation for how horrific this movie was.
You didn't like it, huh?
Didn't like it.
I thought you would have liked it because I thought we've talked before about Pacific Rim and some other movies where it's like, hey, if you just go in there with an open mind and it's just an action movie. And that's kind of how I went in with this Rampage movie. And I was like, it's fine. It was fair. It was an average movie for me. I mean, for me, some of the graphics were like not great compared to
terrible
Player One. They were pretty, I don't know about terrible. They were not great. It's not going to hold up in 2 years. I know that.
The wolf in this movie was outdone by the wolf in Twilight. That's how bad the wolf was.
I mean, to be fair, we see from the commercials that this is not just a regular wolf.
I mean, it has wings. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Fly.
And the worst animation of a wolf I've ever seen. And somehow, before the wolf flew, because let's get this. The wolf is jumping through the sky, killing things, okay, throughout 2/3 of this movie before it spreads its wings and flies.
Not true.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true.
No, it was flying in the woods when we first met the wolf.
No, it wasn't flying.
We didn't.
It jumped really high.
Whenever they were...
Nope, yeah. It never spread its. It never showed its flying squirrel wings. Didn't happen. Okay, sorry, spoilers. Later in the movie, it shows it's flying squirrel wings. But even before then, it's defying gravity. It's not like it just jumped so high because it had muscles. It floated in the air without the wings. There was no realism to the CG. It was awful. There was no story. There was the action. Okay, yeah, I'll go in with an open mind for a good action movie, except for there was no good action. It was just nothing. You had villains that were out of a 1965 cartoon. You had the idiot brother, the diabolical sister. Neither of them played the parts convincingly at all.
TVHS thought they were together. I didn't know.
This is not even one of those movies where like I say it's a must see. Go out and see it. This is a stay at home. Lock your doors from the inside so somehow you can't unlock them, so there's no way you could get out of your house to go see it. And then also make sure that you cancel all streaming services that might carry this movie someday so that you never set eyes on it ever.
Wow.
Well,
that's connoisseur.
Wow, those are Tim's non-spoiler thoughts. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fine movie. I love The Rock. I love his charisma. I thought the action sequences that were, you know, it was entertaining enough. It wasn't like super like intense, but it kept me going throughout the movie, and that was fine.
I got my money's worth for tickets.
Sure, yeah.
Movie Pass, and you didn't pay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was fine. I think it was an average movie. I do think you should go see it if you're a Rock fan. There's some kind of quirky characters. I know the main two villains were not super great. I can agree with Tim on that. But, I wonder
what the guys from the Rock Talk would think about this movie.
Yeah, the Rock Talk pod. Let's hear what those guys got to say.
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Charlie.
And you're listening to Rock Talk, a guide to the films of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Now, our friends over at Nerdy Things Podcast, when they wanted opinions about the new movie Rampage, they came to the right people. They came to the experts. Jordan, what'd you think overall?
I thought that Rampage was a modern-day B-movie done pretty much right. It had monsters. It had Dwayne Johnson breaking stuff, blowing stuff up. And most importantly, you had someone getting eaten by a gorilla. What did you think, Charlie?
That's basically what I wanted to see. I wanted some tropes from the video games thrown in. But I'll tell you one thing. For a monster movie, I had a heck of a lot more fun at this movie than I did at the new Godzilla movie. Rampage is all about having fun. And I had a great time. Don't overthink it. Eat some popcorn.
Seriously. Buckle down. Stuff your face with that sweet, sweet golden goodness. And watch Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson do his freaking thing.
Yeah, I had a good time. It was better than I thought it was going to be. So overall, we have rankings on our show, and it finishes in the top 10 for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Finishes within my top 10. It's not as good as Jumanji, but it does pass our franchise Viagra test. So would we see a sequel to this movie? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd see a sequel. So I can't wait to listen to the episode that Nerdy Things Podcast is doing on Rampage. And excited for that one, guys.
See, now I would watch a sequel to this movie. I liked this movie. Let's do spoilers. Let's get out of non-spoilers.
Sure.
I would find the set that they're filming the sequel on and light it on fire.
So I'm going to say that Tim is going to say not to go see this movie. I'm going to say go see it. Kevin,
nice. Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. And the Rock Talk guys are behind it. They're the experts, so believe them. At Nerdy Things Pod on all social media, nerdythingspod.com and all that stuff. But we're getting into spoilers about the movie Rampage. So
Tim, if you go and set the set that they're filming on fire, that would be really cool because, it's a disaster movie, so that would be really helpful to them. I'm sure they need it to be on fire. So
sure.
I'm confused. Did you like the movie or not? Are you trying to help them?
It would make the special effects a big time step up if I actually lit it on fire because that would look real. Listen, these are my fundamental issues with why I don't think it worked on any level whatsoever. Because the two things that those guys at Rock Talk pointed out is that it's a B-level movie. Yes. No, it's not. No, it's not a B-level movie. This movie has a $400 million production budget. When you include advertising, that's not a B-level movie. That's a failure at being a real movie.
Most of that goes to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
But it's not intentional. No, it doesn't. Most of it go to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Two, I have always loved Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So their whole thing, go watch Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson do his thing. I am all for that, except for Dwayne Johnson has gotten to this point. It is a tipping point right now because he is at Adam Sandler level. When Adam Sandler got total control of his own movies, he started building his characters slowly and slowly into these beings that were so mythically perfect. he was somehow the guy that got the girl, somehow the guy that was so funny, somehow the guy that could do all the football stuff or whatever. There was no flaw in Dwayne's character. He had no flaw. He's just out there being the best guy that ever was. That's not a real character. That's not a character I can get behind, because you need to have a struggle. There was no struggle. He's just the best guy that there ever was. And even when he brings the woman in, and this is the other thing that I have a problem with, The Rock always wants to point out how he's empowering women in his movie, and oh, this is a badass chick that's in my movie that I just cast, and he's piping it up on social media. Her only job was to tell the guys why they shouldn't be guys. That's not a really good role for a woman. She was a doctor. She was a scientist. Sure. That was it. They just said it. But all she was there to tell the guys to stop being guys. That is not a good role for a woman. Sorry.
It isn't. I'm going to agree with you there. But usually whenever movies that just let that happen, it's nice to hear that now, that somebody's like, really, you're just gonna let your testosterone do this? And I thought that was a kind of a good thing. I was like, okay, yeah, these guys. But
nothing came of it. They continued to be testosterone-y, and they didn't listen to her. She meant almost nothing to the movie.
This is where I'm going to have to agree
into a mainframe computer from a freaking thermostat, which that wouldn't happen.
No.
Give me a break.
Fuck yourself. That was awful. This is not.
That's what I said.
That had. No, I know. Talking to the movie, but this is not a movie that had a really good understanding of where it was coming from. But when you switch off your brain, it had a lot of action. I'm fine with the action, but I had problems with this movie. I'm with you, Tim. I am. This movie, why was there a Rampage video game cabinet in the office of the two twins, or they're not twins, but the brother and sister that were definitely doing it?
That was a callback.
Dumb. That's not a callback.
No, it's stupid.
To the video game.
Why did the animals not turn into people like they do in the video game? This would have been a better movie if this was like werewolves on steroids. I could have gotten behind this. You know, I doesn't have to be The Rock that turns into George. You can have the same dynamic. Just have it be his friend. I'm cool with that. No, they didn't do that. What happened to Alcide from, any of it? What's his name? Joe Manganiello. He was in this movie for like 3 seconds.
Okay. So something I do really like about his character, which they did like something pretty cool, where they set me to believe that Joe was going to be the main antagonist towards Dwayne Johnson. And it was like, oh, finally this, hard ass dude's going to take down The Rock. He's going to be the bad guy. Oh, okay. He's battle hardened and all this stuff. And then he dies really, really easily. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So that kind of threw me for a loop, and something that I really did like. And I think I really liked that better than if Joe survived the whole way. And it just
Brad from How I Met Your Mother became Brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
His character was super cool, but yeah.
I thought Deathstroke was going to kill Black Adam, but no, Deathstroke got killed by a flying wolf that we didn't see fly at that point.
A flying wolf that wasn't flying. Oh. So magically floating in air. There was no realism in the gravity that they generated from this character. He's just like moving as light as a feather. Did they give him bird bones? Was that part of the DNA? Sure. He had hollow bird bones and just started floating. Ugh.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I didn't understand like why George didn't acquire other things. You have the alligator that looked like a dinosaur from space. You had the wolf that had the wings and the quills and all the other stuff, and then you have a big gorilla.
Because it humanized the gorilla, because we're supposed to relate to him because he makes penis jokes and gives the finger.
Yeah,
that's kind of.
I looked at it like maybe when they tranquilized him, it slowed down his metabolism. He wasn't eating during that time, so he wasn't changing. But still, I wanted some explanation for it. I was really hoping to get
who knows sign language makes sex jokes and gives the finger.
Yeah. I mean, that's highly intelligent right there. I mean, that's all of Reddit anyways. Come on.
That is, yeah.
The gorilla that
Tim,
only knows sign language understands the nuance of sex jokes. Okay.
Obviously, The Rock taught it to him over a long period of time. But I have somebody on Twitter that does agree with you, Tim, wholeheartedly, and he wrote kind of a lot, and I'll read most of it. But there's a lot of grievances.
Tell me it's not William. It's not William, is it?
No, it's not. It's at Jacob
Oh, okay.
Sweatsuit. He said this is one of the worst movies he's ever seen, and nobody looked like they wanted to be there except for Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who was terrible. Which I really liked. I enjoyed his character, even though it was
terrible.
It was a terrible character. It was pretty funny.
That later. Continue.
Okay, well, I definitely want to get into Dean Morgan's character, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. The script is atrocious. It seems like it was written by a 5th grader. Example: The Rock and Naomi Harris survive a helicopter crash, and then Naomi Harris says, "I can't believe we survived that." There isn't enough action in it. Realistically, there's like 2 major scenes with the big monsters fighting, and the rest is spent with the characters who don't care about. This is where I feel like Pacific Rim 2 did it better. Pacific Rim knew what it was and gave you what it knew its audience wanted: big robot fights. Really no great characters, but that's not what you asked for anyway. You asked for robots. Here, all I wanted was some monster action, and all I got was Dwayne Johnson and co. trying to make this script work. JDM has the best performance because he actually looks like he's having fun, but Jesus Christ, he was absolutely intolerable in the movie. Some more stuff, blah, blah, blah. Another scene was bad, and he links to his podcast. He has a podcast as well. But, yeah, I don't know. The script was pretty terrible.
Why was Negan in this movie? And no, I didn't say Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Why was Negan in this movie?
True.
Yeah, I don't.
Because The Rock liked that character. He was watching The Walking Dead once, and he's like, I want that in my movie.
Dude, that's literally what I was thinking when I'm watching it. It's like they went to Jeffrey Dean Morgan and said, "Hey, can you come play Negan in our new movie?" And he's like, "Sure, but why? Like, what's my motivation?" "Oh, we don't have any. We just like think it's funny the way you do your thing."
Yeah, I mean, especially
why is my character like? Why is he so mad at everybody? Why does he antagonize everybody? Oh, we don't know. It's just really funny when you do your thing. So go you do your thing. But like, so which guy am I supposed to not like? Like, who's the bad guy who I'm opposing? Everybody, just everybody you talk to, just whether you like him or not. Just be Negan. How much are you gonna pay me? Blah blah blah. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
and that's how we got cast.
In the lobby when the brother confesses and is about to run out the door, and he's like, "Why don't you give me that rat?" And then he just takes the rat for no goddamn reason.
Yep.
And then like he just kind of shoos the brother out the door, and the brother goes out the door and gets splattered by a giant rock, and he just kind of goes, "Yep, all right, I guess I'll take another door," and then leaves. How did you know that rock was going to fall? You didn't.
And somehow the building exploded around him, and he's just not there anymore.
Well, he took another door. I mean, really? And then he hands the rat to someone else, and the rat never comes back. What was the fucking point of the rat?
There was no point. It was just the whole allusion to the rat character that's supposed to be in Rampage later on. That might be a sequel.
But that character
we saw that in the movie. We saw that in the start. That was the whole point.
Exactly.
Which, mind you, that lady who escaped with the samples goes into the escape pod, and it doesn't get repressurized, and she doesn't have a helmet on. The science is wrong from the very beginning. Let's start with that.
Which was a pretty interesting way to open a movie. I didn't expect it to start in space, but okay. But Jeffrey Dean, I really liked, I just thought of him as like a god character. Like I never saw him as Negan, and I only know some of him, from some clips and stuff as Negan. But like, I just thought of him as like some god character where he always just showed up walking out of somewhere. He just showed up here, showed up there, and I was like, all right, this guy with his big old Texas white pistol showing off right in front. And I was like, okay, I mean, it's cool, I guess, whatever. This random ass character, whatever. I enjoyed it. It was absurd because it was absurd.
It might be the worst written part of any movie I've ever seen. There was nothing behind this character. And this is why, again, I'm going to draw the parallel between The Rock and Adam Sandler. Look at the Rock movies. Jumanji, Baywatch. All it is a random smattering of characters that he likes and actors that he likes playing parts that have no motivation and no connection, who we aren't made to care for. And he, as the lead, who I've always loved, The Rock. We've talked about this a million times. I don't care about him anymore because he's just playing this greatest guy that there ever was. There's no struggle. There needs to be a struggle for me to really care about someone. And that's when Adam Sandler movies went off the map. And because he's being given full control, he's dangerously close to doing the same thing, where he's going to just run into irrelevance really fast because he's The Rock, but run really fast into irrelevance very quickly.
Tim, how much did you say it was to make Rampage?
So the budget was $120 million for production.
Yeah,
but
okay,
it needs to make $400 million to break even, including advertising. The advertising budget for this movie was bigger than the production budget. That's why I say you can't count this as a B movie. When you have that much money invested, it's just a failure of being an A movie because it only made $36 million in opening weekend. That's a failure for a movie that costs this much.
Right now, as I'm looking at the total, I got my comma mixed up. That's why I was like, holy shit, this movie made more money than I thought, but no, it didn't. So yeah, production budget's $120 million. The domestic total as of yesterday, $43 million.
Right, but a lot of this is the whole reason that the advertising budget was so big was because of overseas advertising. And this thing has made $186 million worldwide in a week.
Yeah, 100. Oh, wow. The foreign is 141.
Yeah, but it's going to slow down real fast.
Oh, sure. No, I don't doubt that it is. But I think it'll make its money back.
Sure.
It'll make its
it's
money
The Rock.
back, sure.
The Rock overall. And the foreign.
It'll breach that bar, and we will get a sequel out of this.
But my point about the budget wasn't so much whether they're going to make their money back or not. Still, 36 million opening weekend for a movie with that kind of budget with the Rock, that's terrible. Let's call a spade. That's terrible. But
horrible.
My point of it is you can't, when you have that kind of budget, you can't call this a B-level movie. The whole point of a B movie is to make a campy, crappy movie that doesn't cost much, so it turns a big profit up front. When you have The Rock as the front man and you spend that much money, it's not a B movie anymore.
Nah, I get
especially when it tried too hard not to be a B movie. But it tried really hard not to be.
It evoked the feelings of a B movie. That is its failing.
If it was and they did it well, I'd be all for this. But it wasn't. Not any element of this movie worked. None of it. The CG on the gorilla, that was it.
The CG on the gorilla in the beginning and all that stuff, it looked pretty fantastic. I do want to say one thing that caught me. I think there was two things that caught me about the story or the dialogue that was like, hey, that's awesome. In the beginning, what was it? I think George kind of breaks out, and like one of the very first thing that The Rock's character says is somebody call 911. And I was like, that's the most logical thing that anybody said in one of these movies in a very long time. And I was like, wow, that caught me off guard because that was the only thing he said. He was like, somebody call 911. I was like, oh, cool. But then they ended up like capturing him and stuff. So that kind of played into the story. But I was like, oh, yes, somebody said it.
But he says call 911 at the same time. Let's try and give him credit, and I'll take it right away. He says call 911, but then when the cops get there, he's like, oh no, men with guns. That will set George off.
Well, yeah, but he had it under control. Like he was.
What happens when you call 911 though? The guy with the men with the guns are coming.
To help people that got hurt, mainly. I think that's what he was calling for.
But he was panicking when the men with the guns came.
I know.
Come on. I'm just saying nothing fully worked. Actually, one thing worked. Outside of the all right, I'll give it two things. Sorry. The CG with the gorilla was really good. The rest of the CG was awful.
The alligator looked really good.
I loved the alligator. I loved Lizzie.
The alligator
it was pretty cool.
But my point on the alligator was this. Between Jurassic World and this movie, we have proven that the creatures under the sea are definitely greater than the creatures above the sea.
What does that mean?
Well, the creature under the sea, the alligator, was the one that came and nobody could stop it. It was like almost impossible. Sure.
Yeah.
And then you remember Jurassic World, who was it that took down the Indominus Rex in the end? It was that damn giant whale dinosaur that came out and was like 3 times everybody's size and dragged it right back in. Creatures under the sea are clearly more powerful than the creatures above the sea.
Clearly, we should set the next Rampage movie Under the Sea.
Underwater
Under the
Rampage.
sea.
Little Mermaid
Under the
attacking.
sea.
I mean, it'll be great.
Darling, it's better down where
Rampage
it's better.
crossover.
Take it from me. Up on the shores, they work all day.
That's enough. Tim.
What was your point? What was your point that you were going to make about
that was it.
Something. Oh, okay.
That was it.
That's it.
The creatures under the sea are better than the creatures over the sea.
All right. Cool. What else do we want to dive in here? Because I don't know. I think it was like a fair movie. Like, it's fine for people to see, and it's a fine popcorn flick. I think you do make a good point, Tim.
What did you enjoy about it? Like, as that tweeter said, was it the 2 action scenes? Like, what did you like about it?
There was more than, it if you're counting action scenes as just monsters attacking and stuff, then sure. But like,
did you like
I enjoyed
the scene in the woods where we kind of got glimpses of the woods and didn't, and all of those stupid army guys were like, "Oh, here's some deer. I wonder what they're running from."
I enjoyed that.
The stupid giant wolf that you were here to hunt. What do you think they're running from?
That's like being in wide wolf print.
That's like being at Jurassic Park and seeing the little tiny dinosaurs coming and going, "Oh, I wonder what they're running from. I don't know, probably the bigger dinosaur." The trained military minds that they called in to take care of the day couldn't figure out what the deer was running from when they were standing in the middle of a giant wolf print. Did you like that scene? Was that fun? Or when the wolf floated through the air and took down the helicopter? Or when Joe Manganiello became brunch? You like that scene? Or did you like the scene?
That was kind of fun. Yeah, I did enjoy that. And then The Rock, whenever he was in the helicopter, and then he, what's his name? George goes aggro. That was a cool scene.
You mean when he was on the helicopter and he goes, "Oh, I'll remember how to do this, I swear." Oh, wait, no, sorry, messed up. No, I'll remember this time. Don't worry.
It was levity.
That wasn't levity.
Comedy.
That was comedy gold. Has nothing behind it. Oh, give me a break. It's comedy garbage. Nothing in this movie worked. I didn't enjoy a second of it.
Oh man,
fair enough.
The guy's out with interns and his gorillas, and he's trying to introduce a new gorilla into the herd. And all of a sudden, the other guy cowers, and he tells George in his sign language, blah, blah, blah. And then afterward, the girl wants to jump his bones because he talked to a gorilla in sign language. That's something that Adam Sandler would write.
I mean, to be fair, he's The Rock.
Yeah. But I do, speaking of sign language and stuff,
out there today.
Speaking of stuff in sign language
and character that the Rock writes. Good grief.
I love that there's more inclusion of things like that, of not, in A Quiet Place, the movie that came out recently, A Quiet Place, most of it has subtitles. No, I don't. Okay. I haven't seen it.
Taking my headphones off. Don't ruin it. Okay.
No, I haven't seen it. No, I was just saying, In A Quiet Place, I know that there's more subtitles. There's a lot of sign language in that as well, and I really like that because some of my friends are hearing impaired, and with musicians, that is a common thing that people get hearing impaired, and that there's more awareness about sign language and things like that. So I really did enjoy, even though I doubt The Rock was doing all of the sign language for all of the words he was speaking, I still liked seeing that. So that was kind of cool.
Pretty funny.
I don't know. Do we want to talk about the bad corporation?
A little bit.
Do you want to hear
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit. And then we'll
evil corporation.
Who's the bad guys in Rocky and Bullwinkle?
It was worse than that, though. I mean, the woman, there was something wrong with that woman's face. I mean, I hate to say that, but her face was way too wide.
Well, she's who she is. Okay. Comedies. What's her name? Erin Ackerman? Is that her name?
Yeah. My wife was telling me that she's in a lot of the Judd Apatow type movies.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
Malin Ackerman. Thank you.
I don't like.
I'm not a big fan of her at all.
Watchmen, Couples Retreat, The Heartbreak Kid.
You pair her with the stupid guy that they brought into the last couple of seasons of The Office, and I just hated him. He was
what purpose did he serve?
None at all. He was a frat guy who was there just to be a frat guy. No, he didn't add anything to this movie. He was an absolute moron. He was there as a scapegoat that never got scapegoated, and then he got splattered.
Yeah.
Nope, I wasn't in.
These
I
guys
wasn't in.
belonged in the Despicable Me.
Yeah.
If they were written
Sure.
better and they were in the Despicable Me, then I would have liked them. But as they were, they did nothing except for drive me nuts because they were the worst written bad guys. You know, I said that Negan's character was the worst written character. I don't know. These guys give them a close run for their money, these two.
I mean, the worst part of this is that this whole movie would have worked and would have worked better without them at all. We don't need evil corporation subplot. You can just have a space station explodes and something causes these, well, I would have liked it to be people to turn into animals, but something causes these animals to go on a rampage. That would be a better movie.
Yeah,
You know,
but they needed
the
to
fact
get
that they had the tower that they could turn on that would bring them together, that was bull. Like we didn't.
Which she built last night, by the way.
Right, she had the
I
technicians.
built this last night.
They have billions of dollars. They can call enough people to build that, I think.
I'm still calling bullshit.
No, but that was pretty shitty.
A tower that makes a. By the way, they built a tower that makes. I'm pretty sure they said a low frequency noise, but every time it came on, you heard. That's a high frequency noise.
Well, see, they couldn't hear
Just
it.
one of the many things in the movie that make no sense.
We couldn't hear it, so we didn't know what kind of frequency.
Yeah.
Except for we did hear it.
No,
and it wasn't a low frequency noise.
Them as in the movie, they couldn't hear it. But like
I know
they needed that whole thing to get that whole scene of them coming to the city because they could. That was just the ploy to.
But there's a million different ways that I could write this that they would come to the city. I love the trope that the evil corporation that is doing all of this for some reason has the antidote to at least part of it sitting in their vault for some reason. And the good guys can find it because they just opened the vault and started reading things because there was no other reason they should have found it.
Please, Kevin, tell me the bad things that would happen if all of the computers in this entire ecosystem of this big corporation were all connected together and that you can get every file from the thermostat. Please, let's go into depth.
Yes. No, that is like the worst security you could ever have.
That was so
Why
bad.
would your, I mean, I get like smart enabled thermostats. That's cool. But you would be reading information from that thermostat. You would not be allowing it to access your mainframe. And on top of that, if the FBI raided the place and took your computers, guess what? Your thermostat is not still connected to them wherever they are because those computers are gone. There isn't a backup of your files on the thermostat that is for some reason a tablet or something.
Yeah,
that's not how any of this works. Thanks for playing.
I'm going to get this on a more base level. This is, as you said, a multi-billion-dollar company, and the glass doors that they have protecting their most prized assets are not ones that are unable to be broken by chairs.
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird. All of that was weird.
I'm sorry, and this is the
not
thing.
Bulletproof.
I know what people are going to say. Oh, you're just being too picky. You're supposed to just get some popcorn and watch this movie. I had a bucket of popcorn, and I had 3 boxes of candy. I went to this movie. Yeah, I'm not even joking, dude. I skipped lunch.
He does not F around.
I went to this movie with that was my mindset. I'm getting a tub of popcorn, 3 things of candy, and I'm just going to enjoy the heck out of this thing. I'm not trying to be picky. There was just things to be picky about at every turn of the movie.
That's right.
And when none of it works, that's all you're left with.
Pretty much.
Sure. I still enjoyed it though. But let's get
We're going to rate this thing? I'm really looking forward to this.
A rating.
Tim, go.
Okay, hold on. Let me remember exactly how low I made it. Nerdytainment, 2.
Oh
boy.
Acting and directing, 2.
Ugh.
I gave it 2 points for the gorilla. The gorilla, new sign language. That's worth something, I figured. I could have given it 0. Story, that's a 1. None of this story worked. There was no component of this story that made any sense whatsoever. Visuals, I'll give it a 4. Because, again, the gorilla. My entire rating of this movie is because I had to give some points for something, so I gave it for the gorilla. The gorilla looked good in the beginning. Everything else was junk. At the end of the movie, when they're all walking away from the debris. That was the most obvious green screen I've ever seen since, again, 1998.
Also, why, if you've just survived these giant creatures rampaging through the city and you're somehow on the second floor of a building,
would
why
you
are
jump
gonna
into
into the hand of a gorilla?
I saw that and I was like, really? Okay.
No. Nope.
Well, he saw the gorilla save the day. Okay, that's where I get my story points for the gorilla. Gorilla saved the day. He took this movie from a 0 to, when you average it all together, a 2.2. This was worse than, what was that movie we saw last year with the Stephen King movie? What was that one? No. The bad one. Dark Tower. Worse than Dark Tower. This was as bad as Ghost in the Shell. This was probably worse than Ghost in the Shell. This is one of the worst movies I've seen in recent memory.
Wow.
2.2.
See, I'd give it like a 5 for nerditainment, a 5 for, you know what? I give it 5s across the board is really what it comes down to.
Huh.
Yeah. Directing, the visuals, the writing, all of it. It was 5s.
I gave my M&Ms a 10.
This was a 5 for me. This was just a straight 5.
Can we also talk about how Dwayne, or The Rock's character, I don't even remember the character's name, but The Rock, he got shot like halfway through all the action, and he did all that stuff with a gun, with a gunshot wound, and I didn't see an exit wound, so it was still in there.
That's fine, but he
missed all the major organs.
Yeah,
let's see how it goes. I think that's the exact quote.
He did the brunt of all the action after that. That was amazing.
But this gets back to my point. This is like Adam Sandler and Don't Mess with the Zohan. It's a character that's perfect beyond all reasonable expectations.
Sure, pretty much true.
So Nerdytainment, I give it both 7s. I still really liked it. I think it was a fun, and I really don't care about physics and all that stuff. It was pretty funny, and I enjoyed it. Acting, directing, 7. Story was a 5 because it was kind of weird and not that great. Visuals, 7. Yeah, final was a 6.6. So
did you just rate this the same as Ready Player One?
I guess. I don't remember.
You just rated this movie the same as Ready Player One?
Jules, I hate to agree with him, but you're being voted out of the podcast.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this movie, Rampage. I sat through it. I didn't pick up my phone. I thought the Jeffrey Dean Morgan character was pretty funny and godlike, and it's absurd. It is so absurd that I found it pretty entertaining.
Can we talk about The Good Place now? All right.
We should talk about how the Rock Talk guys put it in their top 10. Why don't we have those guys come on and have you talk to them, Tim? Because that's one of their top 10 Rock movies, and I'm pretty sure they're going to listen to it, and they're going to get super mad at Tim.
I like those guys, so I don't want to talk to them about this because I like them.
That's fair.
Charlie and Jordan are good guys, and I genuinely like them. So I actually specifically don't want to talk about this movie with them.
I don't know. Nice. I definitely agree with him. But if you agree, whoever you agree with, let us know on the internets. We'd love to hear your opinions on Rampage, whether you liked it, loved it, hated it, all that stuff. Don't forget, you can reach us on most social media at NerdyThingsPod. That's NerdyThingsPod. You can send us an email at nerdythingspod@gmail.com. You can visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news updated daily. And you can also find the new podcast that we started this past Monday called Everything is Fine, a Good Place podcast. You can find links to the podcast there as well. And you can just, wherever you're listening to this podcast, you can find that on iTunes, Google Play. It's soon to be up on Spotify, hopefully. But Everything is Fine, a Good Place podcast. That's a new podcast that we started, and we're talking about The Good Place, NBC's The Good Place. The first 3 episodes are up right now, and we have a new one every Monday. So we have Nerdy Things Podcast on Friday, and Everything is Fine on Monday from now on. On our website, you can find
Productions.
There you go. On our website, you can find links to our merch for shirts and more, links to our YouTube to watch the podcast episodes because we do these in video, our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. You can get into this live recording of the podcast for $1, and you get extra stuff, and you get the Everything is Fine podcast early as well. So much stuff, only $1, and you get other stuff. Just we have a ton of rewards over there on Patreon, so you can find links to that. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-786-3739. And if you're as passionate about Rampage, either you loved it or you really hated it, we would love to hear a voicemail about it. Any voicemails, all the voicemails, bring them in, and we love to hear them. I'd like to thank Adipsia for the use of his song, Friends Don't Let Friends Go to TGI Fridays. You can hear more of his music at adipsia.bandcamp.com. He just released a new album called Imbue.
And I'd like to thank the Bell Curve for the music we use under the main topic. All right.
See ya.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.